everybody. I'm going to do a live broadcast, a reading from Agents of Order. It comes out tomorrow. It's book 6 in the Federal Agents of Magic. It's been a crazy week, and I have not figured out a great time to do these. Well, I have, but it'll start next week. We're going to do these readings at noon my time. They'll still be here all day long if you don't catch it then, but at least it'll be early enough for those in Europe. And I find I'm always around at noon so that I can do them. And so I'm going to read from, and hello, Diane, who hasn't missed one yet. Also, we may get interrupted by Lois Lane or Leela. Not a lot of control over that. And also, today, Girl Unleashed came out. From The Last Vampire, so if you haven't gotten that yet, and like I said, we're reading today from Agents of Order from the Federal Agents of Magic, which comes out tomorrow. There were 4 books that came out this week, so it's been a busy week, still going. So anyway, I miss chatting with you guys and doing this. And Saturday we have the fan lunch at Mean-Eyed Cat. If you haven't RSVP'd and you're in the Austin area, please let me know. There will be swag. So without further ado, here is Agents of Order. Carr turned slowly as she gazed out at the surreal landscape, stretching to the horizon in every direction. Above, too far to be seen clearly, but nonetheless sensed as an urge to duck. An array of pointed stalactites hung ominous and threatening. The ground beneath her feet was the cracked soil of a desert, its copper tint doubtless the result of the spilled lifeblood of those who had battled here before. The visible land fell off quickly into darkness. She finished her turn to face two figures, twins and opposites. On the left was an ebon-haired woman clad entirely in white leather, medieval armor festooned with matching bands, and buckles from the colorless boots below to the thick collar protecting her neck. Her ears were pointed, her cheekbones sharp, her lips soft and lush. The elf's haughty, clearly I don't say that word very often, the elf's haughty expression felt like judgment. Carr shied away from it and turned her head to the being's mirror image. Same armor, but all black. Same features, with just the smallest twist to convey masculinity instead of femininity. White hair stood in dramatic contrast to the rest of the figure's look, as the dark mane had for the other. He, too, gazed at her condescendingly above crossed arms. She looked down at herself to find she wore her most comfortable combat outfit, boots, tactical pants, and the tight black tunic Ares agents used as a base layer. The standard wrist-length sleeves were cut off at the shoulders, leaving her muscular arms bare. The light wind that rippled through the place warmed her skin with its touch. She shook her head once and felt the weight of her long hair captured in a warrior's knot at the top of her neck, ensuring it wouldn't get in the way of the fight that was surely to come. The air seemed to vibrate with the imminent threat posed by the twins. So apparently it's to be a battle. The woman on the left laughed, and it was less cold than she'd expected. Indeed, it is to be a battle. Carr groaned. Great, they can read minds. Now the man laughed, the sound identical to his twins. Yes, we can read your mind anyway, bearer. Carr squinted in confusion. Then the moments before she'd landed in this place returned to her brain. Nyla and Diana had stood over her, tightening the straps to secure her to a table in the basement of the Dark Elf's shop. She recalled thanking them and surrendering to the mental pressure of the paired daggers that comprised part of the Rosin's vengeance artifacts, then remembered nothing more before her appearance here. She narrowed her eyes. So, angel and demon, I presume. She nodded to the light and the dark in turn. They returned the gesture with identical movements, obviously still amused. Carr offered a sardonic grin. I don't suppose we're just here to chat about how our partnership will work. The duo laughed again, and now it sounded like real pleasure was present. Angel gave a toss of her black hair. No, talking is not our preferred mode of conversation, Demon finished. Carr sighed and rolled her shoulders. I'm guessing it's not one at a time either, right? Together they replied, what would be the fun in that? Then they attacked. Angel led the way, circling away from her twin as she stalked forward. Carr responded with her own evasive circle, increasing the distance from her darker opponent and putting the woman in white between them. Angel was suddenly in range, her advance so quick it failed to register, and flashed a fist at Kara. She shifted her head to the side, the blow narrowly missing her left ear, and replied with a two-punch combination to the woman's sternum. Both strikes connected, but the layers of belts and armor prevented damage to anything other than Kara's knuckles. Wish I'd imagined myself some gloves. She barely ducked aside, and that was my alarm. Okay. She barely ducked aside to avoid the spinning back fist that slashed diagonally at her face. She countered with a leg sweep, but Angel skipped over it with ease. Midway through the motion, Carr caught a flash of black in her peripheral vision and dove to the side, rolling as she hit the ground. Demon's first kick missed, but the next one struck her in the back, propelling her into a faster roll. She used the momentum to leap to her feet in time to catch his follow-up axe kick on crossed forearms. His eyes widened as she grinned and blasted a low front kick into his crotch that sent him stumbling backward several feet. She frowned as he failed to drop in agony. He must have seen the question in her expression because he gave her a condescending grin. Angels and demons are ill-equipped, to borrow a phrase, unless they choose otherwise, and in battle, who would? She fell back as Angel appeared beside him, and they both charged. Okay, they're both fast, and body blows aren't going to work. Time to start breaking stuff. She backpedaled, blocking with the minimum required effort, conserving her energy and waiting for an opening. The duo fought as if they had battled together forever, staying out of one another's way and using opposing attack vectors that challenged her ability to defend against them. For all she knew, they had. Diana had explained how ancient magic users had transferred the spirits of great warriors, willing or unwilling, into objects of power. This pair certainly seemed to have been chosen for their martial prowess. Her distracted thoughts cost her as Demon delivered a punch into her shoulder, hard enough to spin her around to the right. She planted her left foot and levered a side kick at his chest, which he blocked with ease. She chambered the leg and fired it out again, smashing his chin with her heel, as he lifted the limb to avoid her intended crippling blow to his knee. Demon cursed and hopped away, limping in a circle to walk off the pain from the kick. If I'm lucky, I've fractured something, but somehow luck doesn't seem likely. Angel abandoned finesse and rushed in to tackle Kara to the ground. Her foe was heavier than she appeared, and the elbow she drove into Kara's sternum robbed her of breath. The woman in white raised her left hand for a punch, and Kara used the instant of freedom to drive a knuckle into the base of her foe's throat in a single sharp strike. Angel gagged and curled to the side, involuntary panic at the fear of suffocation doing its job. Guess I'm lucky they need to breathe. She rolled out of the way just as Demon's foot stomped where her skull had been a moment before. He assisted his twin sister to her feet, and they faced her again. Haughty looks replaced with at least minimal grudging respect. Kara nodded. Me done here? Angel shook her head. You're not. This is merely a pause for you to regain your strength. She straightened and clasped her hands before her. In life, my brother and I were considered great fighters among the Light Elves. Most of our battles, of course, were like this, training, playing. We mastered all the available weapons with ease, and our success and abilities afforded us the opportunity for a more advanced instructional regimen. Without a notable interruption, Demon continued. We chose daggers, for we judged ourselves the most nimble, the most agile, the fastest. As such, we would study the weapons that would best make use of those skills. He gestured, and a pair of long blades appeared in their hands. Angels shone with pure light, untainted by the red haze that suffused the place. Demons radiated darkness. Carr found herself gripping ones of gleaming steel, mirrored surfaces reflecting everything around. The hilts were longer than the knives she was used to, and the blades were as well. They felt perfectly balanced, and she imagined she could throw them accurately. Or if not accurately, at least better than against the dude on the catwalk. Her opponents laughed. Angel softened her comment with a smile. That was definitely a pathetic effort. Demon tossed his own right-hand blade in the air, catching it cleanly without seeming effort. You are correct. They will fly true. Although disarming yourself is rarely a good idea. Carr grinned. I'm never disarmed, though. The twins exchanged glances and then nodded in unison to her. Angel did the same knife flip as her brother had done. It seemed to offer them reassurance. We are aware of your magical powers. They will not avail you here, but they are one of the reasons we permitted you to select us. Carr was about to ask what the other reasons were when Demon growled, "Enough!" and launched himself at her. He charged in a dead run and lashed out with his right blade as he reached melee range. She stepped out to her left and pivoted, bringing her own left dagger down in a sharp diagonal to deflect his attack downward. She maintained contact until he could no longer strike her with it, then licked her own dagger out in a horizontal cut, the place where his skull met his neck. He halted and ducked in a smooth action and kicked back with his heel. She blocked the kick with a raised foot of her own. Demon rolled forward and jumped to his feet, facing her, twirling both knives. He waded straight in, raining blows at her in a familiar pattern. Down diagonal, sideways, up diagonal, then sweeping strokes from the top and the bottom. She recognized it from her own training as the strikes followed the standard progression for basic practice. She growled, "You're toying with me. Knock it off, asshole." Carr caught his next attacks with outward circle blocks to open his guard, then delivered a straight front kick to his sternum. He fell backward with a gasp, then stood, coughed once, and nodded at his partner. Very well, then. She barely had time to reposition herself before Angel's blades were coming at her. Where Demon had used straightforward attacks backed by raw power and harboring the potential to end the battle in a single blow, Angel was fluidity personified. Every move was circular and flowing, one motion leading seamlessly to the next, her approach resembling a dance as she closed. It was a style she'd never faced before, and Carr was hard-pressed to pick off the incoming daggers, unable to even think of counterattacking. She missed a block, allowing one through to slice a shallow cut across her stomach. The ice of the blade parting her flesh was followed by the warmth of blood welling free, but there was no time to examine the damage as Angel continued to press her. Their blades rang against each other, Carr losing count of the exchanges in the haze of defending against them, until finally Angel stepped back and nodded. Demon stopped to his normal position and regarded Carr, who focused on catching her breath before the next challenge. Angel looked satisfied. Adequate. The raw skills are there, though a great deal of training will be required. Carr frowned. Yeah, well, maybe if I had lived through one of your elves' long lives, I might have gotten there. Demon shook his head. 17. We were the human equivalent of 17 when we were called to battle against Roston. We will not speak of it further, only know that we were forced to slay many before we were overwhelmed, captured, and imprisoned. Carr was amazed at how much they'd accomplished in a seemingly short time and horrified at the notion of teenagers as prisoners. Angel wore a grave expression as she continued the tale. Neither will we speak of the tortures and torments enduring during our captivity. We will only say that when the opportunity for release came, we took it, even though it was to this. She gestured at the scorched world around them. Carr's mouth dropped open. You mean this is a representation of where you live, or whatever it is that you do? Demon chuckled. Exist is probably the most appropriate word. Yes, the last bearer made it so. Carr grinned. So if I offered to give you the swanky 60s pad that was inside the bottle and the I Dream of Jeannie, you'd be good with ending this now? There was a pause. Then the pair laughed in unison, the musical sounds a perfect complement to one another. Angel nodded. Your memories show amusement at the idea, but it would certainly be an upgrade. Demon tapped his daggers together. However, there is a final matter to resolve before such things can happen. You have not yet proven yourself worthy of wielding us. Carr groaned. I was afraid you'd say that. She tensed for an attack, but the twins turned toward each other. Demon sounded despondent. I would take this burden from you, sister, if you would permit it. Angel stepped forward and wrapped the dark being in her arms. Tears glistened on both their faces at some shared pain. It is my turn, brother. You cannot protect me from the choices we both made. They parted with an exchange of nods. When the woman turned back to Kara, her face was hard. Bear, thus far we have judged your skills. We have deemed you potentially worthy of wielding us. However, you must prove your strength a final time. She nodded. I'm guessing it's not like before, though, right? Angel shook her head gravely. It is not. For rather than testing, I will be trying to kill you. Carr gulped. And this is the only way? She was confident that being killed here, wherever here was, would mean death for her physical body in Stone Reach as well. Hopefully, if the cut had also manifested, Diana and Nylot were tending to it. Angel nodded. However, you have this one chance to walk away unscathed. Should you cease your attempt to master the daggers, we will vanish, and you need not die in the pursuit. Carr frowned. How many have reached this point? Demon laughed. Some. She turned her head to stare at him. And how many have survived? He sobered and looked down. Far, far fewer. Carr shrugged, the decision made before she'd asked the questions. Well, what will be, I guess. I'm a lot of things, but I'm certainly not a quitter. She turned her gaze back to Angel and stepped into a fighting stance, front dagger low and angled up, back blade high and angled down. She bared her teeth in a grin. Bring it, Casper. The figure in white paused for a moment, then smiled, clearly having pulled the reference from her mind. She advanced, weaving her blades in circles and ellipses, and Carr focused on using quick strikes to deflect and block them while she learned the pattern. When she thought she had it and was ready to counter, though, Angel changed her tactics, forcing Carr to skitter away and reset against a whole new set of attacks. The process repeated twice before her tiring brain realized what was up. Shit, she can read my mind. The conclusion was rewarded by a nod from Angel and an increase in the tempo of her attacks. There was no way she would be able to maintain her defense endlessly. And if the other woman could read her thoughts, there was only one option. She reached for the state of no mind that Nylot had been coaching her toward as a means of exploring her magic without burning herself out. It was a useful approach because Carr had experienced no mind many times before in her martial arts training, those moments where the body just worked on its own in the absence of conscious direction. Those occasions had always seemed like short trips to paradise to her, and summoning them on purpose was invariably a challenge. One of those, the harder you try, the further away you get sort of things. But on the barren battlefield, it came instantly at her call. A small smile twisted Angel's lips as Carr began to intercept the sweeping blows with greater ease. After a minute, she had managed to work in ripostes and counterattacks, blending elements of the circular style of her opponent with her own more direct tendencies. When the opportunity came, she only realized it was there as her daggers tapped Angel's high enough to just pass over her shoulders, giving her an opening to stab her arms forward and plunge her own knives into the woman's chest. The keen steel slid through the leather barrier without hindrance. She pushed the blades in all the way with a shout and tilted her head up to apologize. Carr stumbled forward as the resistance vanished. Angel reappeared ahead at Demon's side, unharmed. Both now wore sheaths on their thighs with the hilts of their daggers sticking out. Together they bowed to her. Together they intoned. You have succeeded and won the right to wield us. She dropped to sit cross-legged as adrenaline fled and exhaustion swept over her. Does this mean you two will listen to me, obey my wishes, that sort of thing? Their laughter rang in her ears as she fell out of the space. She woke with a start and a deep gasp to thrash against the bands that held her in place. She looked down to discover her shirt was damp where the cut had occurred in the other world. Diana leaned into her line of sight, a worried expression on her face. Cara, are you okay? She laughed hoarsely. You might want to rethink going after the sword, boss. Weapons with personalities are jerks. Her vision constricted into a tiny dot of light that quickly succumbed to the blackness of unconsciousness. Ta-da! That is the first chapter of book 6, and man, it starts with a battle and it does not let you go, which is very typical of this series, which is so much fun to read and fun to write, and you guys agree because you keep reading it in such great quantity. I hope you all enjoyed it. Like I said, The Girl Unleashed from The Last Vampire is out today. This book, Agents of Order, is out tomorrow. There were 4 books released this week. So I hope you guys got your rest because there's more coming and more new series too. I will be doing this every day during Monday through Friday at noon starting next week, and there'll be some OG stuff so you can get acquainted with maybe stuff you never heard of. But there's lots of Norseran and some not Norseran to go around, and P-Brain. So have a great Wednesday. Hope this cheered it up. And I will talk to you guys again soon.